Bienvenue
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 à la célébration
à la célébration
de Cesar Chavez.
de César Chavez.
Welcome, Pittsburg High School, to the 2021 Cesar Chavez Celebration. My name is Eliodoro Moreno, and I am very excited to be your MC for today. And this is now my second year MCing the celebration, and I'm always very excited to be asked to participate because I'm an alumnus of Pittsburg High School. I graduated in 1999, and I'm always excited to be involved. And I'm especially excited this year because the theme really speaks to me. It's Creo en mí. I believe in me. And I think that that is so important for everyone, and it was very important for me. You know, I come from a single mother home with my brothers and sisters. I'm first generation. My parents are immigrants, and they also only graduated from sixth grade. So really, if I wanted to reach my dreams of going to college and becoming an attorney, I had to get guidance from outside of my house. Thankfully, I had several mentors who really believed in me and taught me to believe in myself. And that was extremely key. Some of the most important mentors I had were from Future Leaders of America, which is a youth leadership program that really taught me self-esteem and to believe in myself, but also, and possibly even more importantly, it let me see people who looked like me, who were going off to college, who had careers, and I thought to myself, if they can do it, so can I. And really now, I'm the president of that organization of FLA, and really one of the key things that I think that really helped me was that very thing, to believe in myself. And then it doesn't matter whatever your goals are, you can achieve them. Now, after I graduated high school, I went off into the military. I joined the United States Marine Corps, served a few years in the military, was deployed overseas. And then when I got back, I was able to finally achieve my dream, which was to go to law school and graduate and become an attorney. I did that. Now I've been an attorney for 10 years, living back here in Pittsburgh. I work at the Contra Costa Public Defender's Office. I'm an immigration attorney there. And what we do is that I represent people who the government is trying to deport to keep them here with their families. I'm really living a dream. And really it started with that self-belief. Believing in myself that I can accomplish whatever it is that I want to accomplish. And I know that all of you can do the very same thing. It doesn't matter what background you come from, what you look like. As long as you believe in yourself, crees en ti mismo, then you can accomplish anything. And I hope that all of you will take that to heart and really reach for anything that you want to achieve. Welcome back, everyone. It was so great to see all those different dreams and aspirations that other students and teachers have here in Pittsburg High School. And I really hope that all of you are motivated to create your own dreams and really strive hard to achieve them. Now we're going to move on to the next item on our program, which is Baile Folklorico, which is going to be performed by the Folklorico group here at Pittsburg High School. And they're going to be dancing Marimba Perla de Llorón from the state of Chiapas. Please enjoy. That was great dancing. I always love watching our dance folklorico group. They do such a great job. They work hard, and it really shows in their performances. Now we're going to move on to a little bit of spoken word. And this is going to be by Gabriel Perez Cano, who is an alumnus here of Pittsburg High School, graduating last year. Please enjoy his performance.
Hola, mi nombre es Gabriel, and it is an honor to be back being a part of the Cesar Chavez celebration. Today, I will be reading a poem that I was supposed to read last year. Latinos unite. We are unified like our Latin kings before us. We unify like our indigenous ancestors before the colonists and the Iron Cross crossed us. We unify like the revolutionists who started the revolution against the oppression from European colonists. We unify like los guerreros who fought in the Battle of Puebla against the French forces. We unify like los pachucos y chicanos who wore the zoot suits proudly and suffer at the hands of the U.S. sailors in Los Angeles. We unify like Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta, along with the Filipinos who fought peacefully and demanded their rights during the grape strike. We unify and scream Viva la Raza because we are proud of who we truly are. We unify because we are family, and that's what our community is about. Somos familia. Pero do we always remember? Do we always know that? Are we really united? Mi gente, my people, we still got a long way to go. We must build bridges, not walls. Don't matter if you're half Asian or half Latino, white, or maybe a little bit of Middle Eastern. Doesn't matter. If you don't speak Spanish or you do, you're still familia. Like I said, bef- like I said before, we unify. Prodigies assemble. Those dreamers dream. Latinos unite. Thank you.
That was a great performance by Gabriel. Thank you so much. I always love listening to spoken word, especially when it's done so well. Now we're going to move on to probably my favorite part of the program, which is where we're going to learn more about Cesar Chavez himself and the farm workers movement. I think it's very, very important to learn why Cesar Chavez has influenced and motivated so many people, and really what he did for farm workers and the farm workers movement. It's extremely important, and now you get to see this PowerPoint presentation about farm workers, their lives, and how he changed it. Enjoy. Now, as you can see after that presentation, you know why that's one of my favorite parts of our celebration. It's really, really important to see everything that farm workers go through and how Cesar Chavez and several others fought hard to get them the rights that they deserve. But that fight is not done yet. It is still being fought by many different people, even Cesar Chavez's own family. And with that, I am now going to introduce our keynote speaker, which is my honor to introduce Paul F. Chavez, who is the president of the Cesar Chavez Foundation. As a young boy in the 1960s, Paul Chavez joined his 7 brothers and sisters on weekends in Central Valley farm towns, handing out leaflets and helping his father, Cesar Chavez, build the union that would become the United Farm Workers. Paul and his family endured the hardships of the 5-year-long Delano grape strike and boycott and the struggles that followed. He has spent his entire life with the farm workers movement. Paul was a union organizer, negotiator, and a personal assistant to his father. He managed the UFW's direct marketing operation and was the union's lobbyist in Sacramento and Washington, D.C. Since 1991, Paul Chavez has led the Cesar Chavez Foundation, also founded in the 60s, spearheading its impressive growth and dramatically improving the lives of farm workers, Latinos, and other poor working families throughout the Southwest. Under his leadership, it built and operates an affordable housing portfolio worth $900 million with nearly 5,000 units in 4 states. Paul expanded its communication fund, with a Spanish and English language educational radio network boasting 1.5 million daily listeners and followers across 4 states. The Chavez Foundation's Education Fund provides direct academic services and consulting with school districts and partners with Tostitos to administer a scholarship program that has given $500,000 to dreamers with a commitment for another $300,000. Finally, it operates the National Chavez Center, preserving and promoting the legacy of Cesar Chavez across the nation and overseeing historical properties at the 40 acres near Delano and at La Paz at the Tehachapi mountain town of Keene, where Paul's father lived and labored his later quarter century. Chavez Foundation partners with the National Park Service in administering the Cesar Chavez National Monument at La Paz, the Park Service's 398th unit. And without further ado, I present to you our keynote speaker, Paul F. Chavez.
Thank you for inviting us to share a couple of words with you today. We'd like to acknowledge Mrs. Rodriguez and Latinos Unidos for putting together today's Cesar Chavez celebration. And also I'd like to especially thank you for this beautiful sash that I wear today with much pride. Thank you very much. A few weeks ago, many people were surprised and excited when they saw President Biden at his desk in the Oval Office for the first time with the bust of Cesar Chavez directly behind him. You know, that trip to the White House began in the Central Valley town of Delano, California, with the idea that the poorest and least educated amongst us could take on one of the biggest and most powerful industries in the state and prevail. This year's theme, I Believe in Me, Creo en Me, got me reminiscing and remembering my father and lessons learned from him. And I'd like to share the lesson that I personally learned from him about believing in people. After high school, I wanted to go work for the union on the front lines. I wanted to be organizing and striking and boycotting. My dad promptly put me to work in the union's print shop, something that I knew nothing about and something that I had little interest in. But I worked hard and I learned, and after a while, I became a good printer. A few years later, my dad asked me to come work with him in his office as an assistant, and I resisted. You see, by then I thought I was born with ink in my veins. But the truth of the matter is that I never worked in an office and I was scared. I lacked confidence. But he convinced me and I accepted, and I went in and I worked hard and I learned skills. I learned those skills that continue to serve me today. By then, the union had achieved much success in organizing workers, and there was real need for negotiators to bargain union contracts. My dad was convinced that the sons and daughters of farm workers could learn those skills and that they could do that work themselves. You see, he understood that lives would be forever changed and that people would be uplifted if they were given the opportunity to negotiate their own contracts. So he asked me to be part of this mission, and at first I said no. I told him that I was born to be an administrative assistant, but he insisted, and I joined that first class of 15 students training to become negotiators. It was a tough, year-long academic curriculum. I remember we studied long hours, 6 days a week. We learned how to negotiate. But more importantly, we gained the confidence to go up against seasoned grower negotiators, and many of them were highly paid lawyers. By then, I thought I was born to be a negotiator and that this would be my life's calling. Then my father asked me to become the union's political director. Now, getting me to agree to that also took some convincing. Because, you know, I asked myself, well, what do I know about these kind of things? And it would have been the biggest challenge yet. The new incoming governor was committed to dismantling the state farm labor law that gave farm workers the right to organize, a law that my dad had worked so hard to pass. And so I agreed, and we went out and we worked hard and we protected the law, and it was never changed. Later, my dad once again pushed me to leave the political work and asked me to come over and build what is today the Cesar Chavez Foundation, which I still lead. And I remember asking myself at the time, What do I know about the foundation work? What do I know about things like affordable housing or educational radio? But my dad was confident that I could learn. And so today, as I look back, I can see that at every step of the way, I wasn't sure that I could do these jobs. I lacked confidence, but my dad was persistent. And then I came to realize that my dad had more faith in me than I had in myself. Now, fast forward to today. We take part of Cesar Chavez events across America, and we meet men and women whom he personally influenced, and they tell us their stories. There was a young woman who told my father that she wanted to escape the fields and become a teacher's aide. He convinced her to get a teaching credential, and today she's a school administrator. Or there was the nurse who became a doctor at my dad's urging. There was the son of striking farm workers who was challenged by my father to become a lawyer, and today he's a Superior Court judge. You see, whenever my dad met young people in the movement, he believed that they had a lot to offer, and he always urged them to do more than they or others thought that they could do, especially if they were from a farm worker or a poor working class family. See, he made it a point to get people to believe in themselves. And he helped thousands of people fulfill their dreams that many of them didn't even know they had. And he gave people opportunities that no one would have given him when he was a young migrant kid with only an 8th grade education. And in the process, he also inspired generations of people, millions of men and women, to social and political activism. Most never set foot on a farm. And that was the faith that he had in people. And it was that hope that he gave farm workers to believe in themselves. And then finally it dawned on me. What I thought was merely the love that a father has for a child, I now understood that it was something more. It was the love and faith that my father had in an entire community, an entire people's ability to create their own future. My father rarely spoke about his work, but he did at an important speech that he gave when he laid out his vision for the future. You see, he saw the future of the growing social and economic and political awakening of Latinos across America. And he said, once social change begins, it cannot be reversed. You cannot uneducate the person who's learned to read. You cannot humiliate the person who feels pride. You cannot oppress the people who are not afraid anymore. We have looked into the future, and the future is ours. My father's message to all of us today, his message to you today, is that all things are possible. And most importantly, he would tell you, I believe in you. Creo en ti. Thank you all very much for listening. And remember, Si Se Puede. Yes, we can. Thank you.
Well, that was quite an inspirational address by Paul Chavez. It's really great to hear from one of the sons of Cesar Chavez really speak to believing in yourself and what Cesar Chavez did. And I hope all of you really took it to heart. Now, I'm going to move on to our next performance, which is by Pitt Unified Dancers, which is a group of inclusive students with and without intellectual disabilities coming together and having fun. Please join me in welcoming the Pitt Unified Dancers. was a great performance by Pitt Unify. I hope you all join me in congratulating them. They did a really good job, and it shows that they really care about the performances that they put on. Our next presentation will be a skit from the Latinos Unidos Club officers who will be talking about the coronavirus pandemic, how to be safe, and how it's affected people around the world, including farm workers. The club officers will also encourage people to be vaccinated as soon as possible. Please enjoy.
Hola chicos, thank you for being here. So nice to see all of you. What's new? What's going on?
Hi.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Have you guys heard of the coronavirus? It's been all over the news, with 517,000 deaths and 28.8 million cases in the U.S. alone.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, I heard that it's a really infectious disease and that it is basically shared through air with other people who have the virus, which is advised not to touch your nose, face, eyes, and mouth when exposed outside.
Yeah, it also says that there are so many symptoms that can occur when you have COVID, like fever or chills, cough, shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, fatigue, muscle or body aches, headache, loss of taste or smell, sore throat, congestion, runny nose, vomiting, and diarrhea. If you experience these symptoms, please go get tested for the safety of you and those around you. You can also be asymptomatic, which means you have the virus but no symptoms. So please get tested regularly.
Please.
Wow, this virus sounds like it is really dangerous. I wonder how it affects farm workers. I heard COVID affects farm workers because when they're working, the workers are in contact with other people, with other farm workers, which makes it more possible for them to get COVID.
Wait. But why are farm workers so important?
A farm worker is someone who is employed in agriculture, which means that they work in agriculture production. They produce harvest crops such as strawberry and corns.
Exactly. And when they get COVID, they don't work, the veggies get rotten, which makes it more hard for them to make profit, make money to support their families, or pay their rent. Employers also lose a lot of money because their harvest goes to waste, and yet we, the consumers, are the ones who will end up paying more money for our products, and are making us spend more money on them than we need to.
That's pretty interesting. Did you know that there's ways to actually help prevent the spread of COVID? The CDC has implemented rules as in staying 6 feet apart so there's no sneezing or coughing on each other, and also to wear gloves and face masks while handling food. Another consideration is to get the COVID vaccine.
A COVID vaccine, do you guys know that there's 3 now? Do you guys know which ones they are?
Yeah, there are 3 types of vaccines now. The Pfizer, the Moderna, and the Johnson & Johnson. So the Pfizer vaccine only requires 2 doses, and the Moderna, and the Johnson & Johnson is 1 dose.
Muy bien.
Which gives about 70% of immunity.
Muy bien, great. Anything else?
And with 2 doses of either Pfizer or Moderna, you get 94 to 96% immunity. And with everyone vaccinated, life can slowly go back to normal. And your second dose is given within 3 weeks to a month. And with the farm workers being vaccinated, they will feel more confident and safe when it comes to doing their job. And with them being more confident and safe, the vaccine will help protect them, their families, and employees.
The vaccine does seem to be helpful. However, there are a few side effects that should be considered before taking this vaccine, such as pain at the site of the injection, pain from swollen lymph nodes in the arm where the vaccine was injected, tiredness, headache, muscle or joint aches, nausea, vomiting, and fever or chills. Unfortunately, the vaccine doesn't fight all COVID variants, but only the original COVID-19. Even if the vaccine is not as powerful, you should still get it to protect you from the worst outcomes, such as hospitalization, and even death.
Oh my, yeah.
As you can tell, many people, especially farm workers, are affected by this dangerous virus we know as COVID-19. Please be sure to take all these thoughts into consideration and stay safe during this time of need. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody,
you.
stay safe. Thank you
You
so
too.
much. Thank you for being here, guys. It was a great meeting today. Hasta luego. Bye-bye.
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 I hope all of you enjoyed that skit and continue to stay safe and healthy throughout this pandemic. Now we're going to move on to another performance by the PHS Baile Folklorico group. This time they're going to be dancing Guadalajara from the state of Jalisco. Stay tuned. Well, that was another great performance by the PHS Baile Folklorico group. And with that, that ends our Cesar Chavez celebration for today. I hope you all enjoyed learning more about Cesar Chavez, the farm workers movement, learning about the dreams and aspirations of your fellow students, and seeing your fellow students perform during the celebration. And I really hope all of you take to heart the theme for this celebration, Creo en mí, I believe in me. And all of you need to really ensure to believe in yourselves. With that, thank you again for watching the celebration. Have a great rest of your day and rest of your week. Goodbye.